Hello, hello, welcome everyone. This is Dregn Durant of the Yasuhiro88, and I hope you're all ready tonight for episode 5 of Horizon Exploration, the channel's sci-fi tabletop RPG that we're playing. We are playing this over Foundry, and we got 5 good friends of the channel here, IRL friends and past fellas that we had a great time playing some D&D with, so we got them all together to play a little bit of a sci-fi tabletop. So yeah. Horizon Exploration is based loosely, or not loosely, but using 5e as the foundation for those who are unfamiliar. That's 5th edition of Dungeons and Dragons. And yeah, 5th episode tonight. Very exciting. So, one quick announcement before we get the party in here is that next weekend, next week, we'll be taking a break due to some scheduling conflicts. So the next episode, episode 6 after tonight, will be on April 3rd. Same time, just a week later. So keep an eye out for that. And as always, the announcements and notifications will be sent on the channel. So do give us, do click that button. All right. Well, let's see if the party is ready. We'll do a quick little recap here. And looks like they're having a conversation here. And let's pull them in.
Many watermarks on glass and stuff when you use it, but also it's mainly when you use the water itself. Like when you bathe, your skin isn't rough afterwards.
Huh.
Like when you have hard water, your skin is really rough and like dried out afterwards. When you do it with soft water, your skin just feels kind of normal afterwards. And then it's also better for your pipes. I don't actually know what softening your water does. I'm not like a biochemist.
You're telling me that
I don't know what I just walked into.
every time?
You guys are out there softening water? What did I just hear?
Yeah. We have unerect water, so...
Unerect water? Man, you gotta give it more attention.
I think
Alright.
we do have a pill for that.
They might. Yeah, you just put it in, it fizzes a bit, and then it becomes... what?
Unerect?
Who knows?
Yeah, are you guys bathing in like sparkling water? Is that how it is?
That
soft?
would just probably feel
Oh, sorry,
bizarre.
that's flat, isn't it? Not soft. Fuck.
Imagine just taking a bath in some sparkling water. Probably just be like blowing bubbles on your stomach the entire time.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what that would feel like. I feel like that should be a spa thing that like the super rich, like, yeah, I took a bath in sparkling water. It helps with my pores.
Wait, you guys are taking baths?
All
You're
right.
hoarding water?
Well, how is everyone doing today? Let's see here. We got...
Hey, Dragon.
Oh, that's right. Discord always likes to hijack my hotkeys. So let's get everyone on the screen. There you are. And from the top, Sam Stonewill.
Hey.
Played by Peter. And Maxine Beck.
How's it going?
Played by Sean. As Abiel, who, you know what, now that we've gone a month of playing this game, you want to maybe do a little shout out of what you do, since I know you got games in flight too as well, don't you?
Yeah, I'm a professional game master for tabletop RPGs, just like this one, except maybe not quite as...
Oh, I thought he was going to say better.
Maybe, it might be.
It's cool because it's not led by a man from space, but pretty interesting. It's on startplaying.games/GM/Azabiel.
And hey, we're all space dust here. But next up, we have Caden Lumen.
Hi, I'm here. I'm seeing the stakes are part of my vocals.
Played by Calvin, the very unstoic character. Like some work that we were doing.
Grumble.
Grumble. And speaking of grumbles, we got Koji Akiyama.
Grumble. Hello.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Played by Corey. And last but not least, we got Dario Cortez, played by Sergio. Where
Hey,
you at?
Dragon. Hey, everyone.
All right. So jumping into... Oh, I just realized what I messed
killed
up.
me there.
There we go. Get everything full screen. That usually helps. But let's jump into it. You guys ready?
Yes, sir.
As I'll ever be.
Likewise. All right. So last time on Horizon Exploration, you had all continued your little adventure throughout these mountainous valleyways of very slate-like mineral formations that were a little sprinkled in some purple dust. And having been unexpectedly drop-shipped into this location, which you all came to the conclusion, it sounds like, of it being a planet called Aurora Green, you came across in time a crash site, which looked a little something like this, where there seemed to have been a couple of crafts that were in a wreckage just outside of the area that you found yourselves within. The difference here is that the land where this crash had occurred was much more natural. You saw dirt beneath your feet. There was trees and bushes in the distance, and a little bit of a fire still kind of simmered and raged on as you cautiously approached the various craft and did a little bit of an examination, tried to identify what may have caused it, who may have owned them, who may have been within. And it sounds as though one craft is much more resembling of a civilian vessel, some kind of a transportation shuttle of sorts, that you had found several burnt bodies kind of laid about and within. Some that may have even been technicians or children based on the kind of size difference that you found a group of towards the back of one of the crashed craft. The other, much more intact, seems to have been a bit more heavily armored, but you did find a large gaping hole towards the belly of the craft, which a few of you had made your way within and found very similar pods to the ones that you had found yourselves emerging from a day or so ago within the time of the story that we are within. And upon some investigation, a few of you guys were keeping a lookout in your surrounding areas and had discovered two not so much anomalies, but questionable objects in the distance. One, above your skies flew a avian creature of some sort. You're unsure if it was organic or mechanical in nature, as it was flying several hundred feet in the air and circling above your rough positions. And Maxine, I believe, came to the conclusion that this thing must be tracking you in some way, shape, or form. And another, far to the east, you had discovered a small but growing what appeared to have been a sandstorm, something kicking up dust in the far distance, which after some time grew as it approached and began to fan out. And what you later realized was a small scouting party or caravan of some sort, as 3 jeeps, one with a mounted automatic weapon, fanned out, and about a dozen or so individuals had scurried out and began disassembling one of the craft and investigating the site, as you all had kind of tucked away under the shade and cover of the rocks closer to where you had once come from. Not favoring a fight from the sounds of some of the conversation within the party, as one of you believed to have recognized what appeared to have been the leading member of this group, having a very distinct burn mark, much like a bolt of flame that streaked around his cheek and fanned up towards his ear, believed the man to be a member of an organization that knows themselves as the Embers, a group that, from the party's conversation, sounds to be someone or an organization that is not to be lightly trifled with. From there, you had all decided to sneak away, which you had done so successfully, and make your way north instead, trying to avoid possible conflict in a situation where you felt that you were a bit outnumbered and possibly outgunned with the automatic weapon that was scanning the horizon as the other members did their work. And in time, making your way northward, you had then come across another opening as the terrain once again shifted back to something a bit more natural. But then you also discover... Where did my image go?
Have you tried turning it on and back off again? Off and then back on again.
I usually skip the beginning and end and just go straight to the fucking, but it didn't work. But here we go. Here we go. We have here a sight as you crested out of the unusual terrain, and over in the distance you found what appeared to have been a settlement of sort, very put together in a very loose fashion. Much of the buildings seem to have been made out of kind of very old or mismatched pieces of sheet metal, as well as some vehicles that seem to have been used to kind of help prop up some very loose housing of sorts. And roughly out in the distance, towards the center of this encampment, you do see quite a bit of what appears to be foot traffic, as several dozens of little dots can be seen moving about. And if I'm not mistaken, this is where you had all left off, having discovered the camp in the distance.
Well, what do we think? I mean, assuming this isn't a mirage of sorts, I think this would be our only place of shelter that we found in a long time since we'd landed.
Looks like a shithole.
Better than nothing?
I don't think it's a mirage. I mean, we're all seeing the same thing, right?
Describe it.
A shithole.
Nah, get close enough. What do we think? Do we, well, we need a direction. Do we have a better idea, basically?
It would be a good idea to approach with caution, at least. And we don't know who these people are.
Just quickly, kind of as each of you look about and discuss amongst yourselves, with some wandering eyes, you'll easily notice your surroundings, where to your backs, roughly to the south and to the west, is that terrain that you had emerged from. The harder surfaces and the mountainous kind of valleys that are arcing almost like petrified waves lies behind you. To the northeast, you find this open field where out in the distance is the encampment. More towards the southeast, you do find some more traditional mountains that you had skirted around as you traverse between the valleys of the original location that you had come from. And to the distance, you do find that the terrain does appear to be a bit more natural in that direction as well. To the direct north, this is where, for the past day and a half or so that you've all been on this planet, the skies in the far distance still arced with energy, as it almost looked as though you were looking through like a bubble that encompassed the over your eye, creating a bit of motion in the air and the terrain in the distance as it twisted and turned with the energy arcing through it, much like almost like a Tesla coil of sorts.
Is this the Aurora Borealis kind of thing you're describing, or is this something different?
No,
Sorry.
so the Aurora Borealis, the green aurora that Aurora Green is known for, does persist, right? But from the poles, both the north and the south, and can be seen a pretty large ways closer to the equator. From where you look and where you see kind of the sunrise within this system, you do recognize that you are somewhere on the lower hemisphere. And the arcing energy depicts what Caden and Maxine, the two of you, would recognize, at least through what the locals have said, or what you would know from the locals and having been on Aurora Green, storms, energy storms, locals refer to as a catastrophe, as they appear somewhat irregularly and tend to leave massive destruction behind, changing in times the terrain itself, and sometimes even the creatures, once the storm dissipates, seems to change in a way that is not for the better. And Caden, you've in time come across a few of these creatures, and they are things that you may consider are out of nightmares.
Yep.
But yes, the arcing storms that you see to the north lie below the Aurora Borealis, and in the past day or so, right, we have seen that this storm did appear to begin to lessen in its intensity as the arcing energy has slowed down. The distortion of that area, that space, has begun to normalize, though small traces of it do still persist far to the north. And speaking of far to the north, much like in the image, in the distance, minus some of the kind of black marks, you do find that there does appear to be kind of like a mountain range of sorts, very reflective in the distance, and some of it kind of moving in irregular shapes that are a bit odd for a mountain, but you do see them far to the distance, what appears to be a mountain range of sorts. So, with that, the encampment up ahead appears to be operating in kind of a nonchalant manner, or at least not one that has shifted since your discovery of it. And Maxine, I know it was something that Maxine was keeping an eye out for, but as you look about and scout about, being the diligent type that you are, you do take a moment to look up as well. And having been distracted by the settlement up ahead for a brief moment, you do look up and find that you do not see the bird in the sky that you had believed had been tracking you for the last little while.
Maxine, do you think we've lost that drone or that being in the sky that's been tracking us this whole time?
Perhaps for the time being, but
this may be our only window to maybe at least blend in with the locals that are here.
Blending's good, I guess, but our goal still is to find a super powerful core thingy.
Well, maybe they'll have some information. Maybe these are inhabitants, and they may even have some information that may be able to help us.
If I understand these things correctly, I wouldn't go asking about it. Have you seen where I left my gold bar?
Well, at least to give us in the right direction. But Sam, sorry. You were saying?
Let's be subtle about it. I do think we need to go and visit them to get some more information from the locals. In Caden, I know this is your home, but it doesn't sound like you've been in this particular area And maybe these guys know. Maybe they've or been trying to find the Horizon Cord.
I'd have to ask them where we are. It doesn't look like anywhere I remember, but I might know it by name if we can get the name of the place.
All the more reason we should go and introduce ourselves and see where we are.
And they'll probably be able to reference where the other major cities are, like Intermission and shit. There's one other. I've never really been there, so. Pardon?
Fontaine.
Yeah, that's the one.
Let's not forget the caution, perhaps, that we initially had a moment ago. We don't know who these people are, and they are at least in line with where these scavengers coming from to the east. They could be aligned.
Yeah. If we
Agreed.
see the burn marks on the face, maybe we get the folk out.
Yeah, that would mean they're part of Embers. There's also there's another group. I don't know what they look like, but there's Abs Corp might be on planet as well, which would look like the people I guess we saw in space.
So assimilate.
Or they could just be locals.
Assimilate sounds like the best plan then, until we can get a good idea of who these people are.
Okay, sounds good.
So we proceed.
Would have been a good idea to get some of that mercenary armor.
Mercenary. Oh. Yeah, well, do we want it? No, we're not going back now. Actually, that other ship showed up. It's too late now. That ship sailed. Left. Maybe next time.
We'll head into this encampment.
Okay. You take some time to approach a little closer. And using your tokens, can we get whoever is leading the group closer to the north? And if there's any particular like marching order. So go ahead and place whoever's leading right around there, and go ahead and put yourself in maybe a 2-wide formation as you walk down the more hilly region down to where these more flatlands lie. Game is paused.
Move
Yes.
it while game is paused.
There you go. My bad. Image covered it.
My game's still paused.
Oh,
Same.
have I now?
Yep.
Yep.
Here we
There
go.
it goes.
On the way, I want to just put a hand on Koji's shoulder briefly.
Koji, you're so close.
Should perhaps some of us take a step back while the rest of you investigate further to ensure that it'll be secure? A couple of us might stand out more than the rest of you.
What are you, like, coming on to me or something? What's with this, like, touching me thing?
Getting your attention.
Oh, yeah.
You have a recognizable look, is what I'm trying to say.
He says he's
Thank
sticking
you.
it like a sore thumb.
I kind of tried to cultivate that, yeah.
And unfortunately, right now, so do I.
So, what, you're just trying to get us to hang back?
Just long enough for everyone else to make sure it's not going to be a problem.
You're not gonna, like, stab me or anything, are you? I'll beat the fuck out of you if you do.
You know, that's not really my style.
Should shoot.
Alright. Sounds good to me.
All right.
Rest of us will proceed then.
Okay. You all continue, and if I understood correctly, Maxine and Koji, with a little brief conversation as you walk, you're all moving forward but behind the group. Is that the idea?
Yeah, I think I'd want to hang back enough, like, so that the other three can, like, possibly go into this settlement and see what's up while we're more or less out of sight.
Okay, so
we'll stay out of the city.
Yep. Trying to just be unseen. Gotcha. All right. And then Caden, can I get you to hide your cursor? I think you can. What is it? Alt C, Control
every
C.
Every time I have to reset that. Yep.
Oh, do you all have to do that every time?
I don't.
I do.
Oh.
I don't know. It doesn't like me.
There may be a setting that you don't have toggled in the controls, but okay. You all make your way and approach, and it takes you a good, what feels like a good half an hour to get down there and get a little bit closer. But as you do, you will start to notice a few details. The camp itself doesn't appear to be in any particular, what's the word I'm looking at? There's no particular blueprint for the locations where these structures have been set up. It seems to be very kind of a hodgepodge, kind of mixed up. And around the surroundings, there does appear to be about 2 to 3 individuals kind of standing watch, wearing kind of head wraps and masks to cover from any kick up of dust, who are all holding what appears to be some automatic weapon. Some of them kind of shorter barrel, some of them look to be full length firearms, but there in the direction that you are approaching seems to be a good, let's see here, yeah, from what you can see coming from the southwest heading northeast, there seems to be about 4 sections that you can see at the moment that in total you're counting 2 to the farthest. How do I do these directions? Looking to your left, furthest, there's 2 groups. A little bit closer, there's a group of 3. The closest group that you're approaching in the distance, if you keep moving forward, has 3. And the southernmost group, a bit more to the east, has also 3 individuals. Kind of, again, standing watch at what appears to be kind of makeshift entryways into the heart of this encampment. Much within, it's difficult to see the fine details of what the individuals are doing, but Maxine, between your scope, you're able to catch what appears to be kind of men, women, and children that are running about, going about and performing just various activities. Some folks seem to be working on repairs. Some children seem to be playing. Others seem to be actually helping out an adult that is nearby. And you see some folks doing laundry as well. And then you all will also notice that somewhere closer towards the center, there does appear to be some white smoke that is a bit shallow, but it does rise from the center. As far as vehicles go, many of the vehicles that you do spot, or at least what appears to be a vehicle, seems to be kind of in a parked position. There are a couple of vehicles that you see far on the north side, which is probably towards the northwestern edge of the encampment. There does appear to be a large kind of transport vehicle, one of those kind of infantry transport vehicles. I don't recall what they were called. As well
APC?
as, say again?
APC?
Are those covered or are those uncovered?
They're tanks with guns on the top.
Yeah, no, that's too heavily armored. But yeah, it's like a Jeep, right? With a tarp that kind of covers the back. There's a name for them. I'm forgetting it. And then you also see what appears to be, what look to be like 3 motorcycles as well, at least from this distance. There might be a couple more, but that is reaching a bit farther than you're able to see, with the buildings now reaching roughly eye level as you're all traversing across the more open plains towards this encampment. At the moment, it does not appear that any of you have been spotted, but in about another 5-10 minutes, you do begin to see that much of the cover that you've been using between the slight hills that are available and any sort of kind of trees and shrubbery, as loosely as they are kind of sprinkled about, begin to thin out as you get more towards the kind of openness of where the camp has been stood up. And the camp itself, having reached this point, appears to be maybe pushing around 180, 200 feet away.
The guards, do they have any other like symbols or anything on them, that, or is it just like covered faces?
Much like the group that you saw earlier, these actually, now that you're closer, seem to have some resemblance, as much of the individuals here don't have any notable insignia, flag, emblem. The clothing that they are wearing all appears to be relatively kind of mismatched, or custom made, or individually made, or there's really no uniform, right, between them. And those that are standing guard are wearing goggles and masks. There are a couple that don't have like a bandana on or something to cover up their head. But if you'd like to roll me a perception, and anyone who thinks that they might be looking for any sort of markings of such, could also give me a perception to try to identify maybe something a little closer.
Dario rolls a 10.
Also got a 10.
Would I be able to make that check from my distance here?
You would, because your weapon has a scope, so I'll let you use that.
Sounds good. Don't worry, that's a 10.
All right. Yep. So
21, not 20.
So all of you are looking at some of these closer individuals, and there's about 6 of them that you can try to make out some finer details. Between those 6 that are closest to you in the 2 separate groups, there are 2 individuals, one in each group, that don't seem to have any sort of like head covering. And Caden, with your natural 20, you look at, you do your best to perceive each of them, and from this distance, you do believe that you see on one of them what appears to be a burn mark.
Yeah, thought so.
The rest of you, however, do not see any sort of burn marking. And if anything, it just looks almost like a what is the word for a unaffiliated mercenary band of sort? Like they don't look like they are professional at all. They look much more. They don't. Maxine, you would probably notice this a little bit, is that they don't seem to have any form of kind of trained posture.
Sort of like a local town militia.
Yeah, more again like militia-esque, right? They don't give you the vibe that there is any form of like professional training or expertise among the way that these individuals are kind of looking about. A few of the groups, which like Dario and Sam, you guys will notice the southern group seems to be a bit more casual, and the 2 sets of groups that are more to the east, in your direction, seem to be a bit more serious. The ones down to the south, having maybe it's because there's 3 of them in each group, a couple of them seem to be having kind of a passive conversation, while one is kind of loosely turning his head to keep an eye out in the distance. Caden, You're also going to notice an additional detail, which is that one of the vehicles that you guys kind of see a little bit of to the north also has a very kind of black paint scheme to it, with some red kind of markings, red stripes that are painted on the side along the doors.
Are they indicative of something I'm aware of? Another potential symbolism to it? I'm trying to be vague about how I asked that question.
You recognize it as... So everyone will be able to see the black paint on the vehicle, but you managed to catch a little glimpse of the red markings. And the red markings are just kind of 3 paint marks that kind of streak to the side, much like the kind of black and yellow hazard design. And the resemblance that you're going to find here is that it really resembles the Jeep that you saw with the automatic weapon earlier.
Oh, like resembles, or like same kind of thing, like same style, or like
very
actions?
Similar. Yeah, it's very similar.
Okay. Are we kind of like, is there people within earshot of us, or are we still kind of secluded?
You're still a bit far away. Yeah, what did I say? I think it's like 180 or so feet. So still quite far, but close enough where you can kind of start to squint and try to get some details out of it.
I will let the group know about both the affiliation with the Ember, as well as the vehicle that looks familiar.
Does that concern you in any way, Caden?
The Embers are not people you want to get involved with. This would be the best way to put it. As long as they don't know who we are, we should be fine.
Should we try to find out what they're doing here in this exact spot?
Again, knowing they're Embers, I'd be extraordinarily careful about asking about our target, because they would probably kill us for it.
Agreed. Let's not bring that up. But what if we go in and tell them that we're the travelers who need a place to rest and get out of the sunlight and dangerous storms?
Yeah, just make sure we don't have enough money on us to be worth mugging, essentially, and we should be fine.
Oh, all of our money is tied into our Omni device. They can't access it.
They might have a way. I don't know. I don't know how these things work, but they're criminals. They'll do what they want.
So we keep our guard up?
Yes, definitely.
And I'm sure we're not going to look to cause any trouble, especially with families around. I'm sure they're looking to have as much safety in their own town as we are for our own safety.
Okay, I think we go in, and we should have a code word if things are getting tough to just get the fuck out.
Okay. Yeah, code word sounds like a good idea. Any recommendations? Something we wouldn't say very often. Bonsai.
Like the tree?
Yeah, I don't know why I thought of that, but...
Okay.
I figured it would be
it's good as
catchy enough. You know, in the worst case, you're just like, hey, look, is that a bonsai? And then everyone looks over, and then you book it. I don't know.
That works for me.
All right, I made a very rough sketch here of what you guys see in the far distance as you get much closer to it. So the outer circle is where the guards are positioned, and the guards up here by the vehicles is where there is only, at least as far as you can tell at this distance, there's only 2 individuals. The circle in the center is roughly where you see a very small pillar of white smoke, and to the north again, where kind of the box here is where you see the vehicles appear to be parked, as along with some of these lines that indicate some kind of entryways, as the positions in between are kind of filled with some of these makeshift what appear to be shelter.
I think we go through the southern gate. Seem a little more relaxed there.
Sure.
Yeah, agreed. So right now we're at a pace of walking, I'm assuming, right?
Yep. And Koji, Maxine, are you two hanging back, or what's the plan here? Again, your distance being roughly 180 or so feet away. Approaching closer, you do begin to lose the advantage of distance for cover, as well as the foliage that you might be able to leverage for cover begins to dwindle.
Yeah, I think I want to stay back and just try to keep these like guard posts in line of sight.
Okay.
I'll probably be doing the same thing. Definitely keeping wary of Maxine, but not like too wary, I guess.
How dare you? But okay.
All right. And with that, I'm going to split the party here a little bit.
Only good things coming when we split up the group.
Only good things.
Fuck.
Only good
Yeah, I
things.
didn't even really think about
Alright.
that, but yeah, we technically are splitting the.
So Maxine and team, we're going to leave you down here. And the rest of you, with the right side being, it doesn't really matter. We'll keep it towards the top. Direction of travel being north. Go ahead and position yourselves in whatever rough formation these three amigos are going to be in. AJC, welcome, welcome. And I don't know, keep it with the group.
Oh, sorry, I was because
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
doing the south entrance. That's why I did that.
Yeah, as much as I would love to make battle maps easier and make it more representative, we are trying to balance it with the stream. North being the
is
direction.
forward.
Yes.
I guess I can go first.
All right. Okay, so you all continue forward as Maxine and Koji hang back, keeping an eye out. Maxine, if at a point you would like to do some perception, I imagine that you're going to be using your scope. So just do call out. And the rest of you make your way closer and begin to approach the camp. Now, real quick, let's see here. I can see your perception. All right. Can you all let me know what your perception modifier, or not perception, stealth modifier is?
+0.
The people going in? We're stealthy?
People going in. I just want to know what your stealth modifier is.
+2.
+4.
And then Sam, what did you say?
+0.
+0. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. As you all approach, the guards themselves initially don't really pay you any attention. Again, the group to the south is a bit more distracted. The group down here has been a bit more focused on conversation. And as you get closer, we'll say, within 100 feet, you also notice that their eyes tend to wander not towards you all, but instead in the direction of the southeast. The guards to the west, the ones that are a bit closer to the direction that you originally emerged from, they, however, being a bit more diligent on their watch, do begin to see you in the distance, and you will notice that one of the middle groups begins to kind of point in your direction as one of the three individuals runs inside while another one runs southward along the encampment towards the group of three that you are more closer to approaching from more the south than from direct east. So they seem to be moving in a way that you would believe that they have spotted you, and they are currently alerting the others.
Well, you weren't really trying to be stealthy. We'll see what happens. I just keep walking towards the entrance. Anyone got a better
No.
idea?
No, if no one's stopping us, we'll keep walking in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blend in.
Remain calm.
All right.
I'd like to just keep an eye out for any suspicious behavior amongst the guards as they're moving now.
Okay. Give me a perception roll as you keep an eye out specifically for that.
7.
All right. Yeah. At the moment, you do see that the facility does begin to slowly, almost like a ripple effect, begin to liven as once the guard that ran inside has let some folks know, you traced the person run inside and you saw him speak to a few individuals who then kind of fanned out and started telling other individuals, and from there activity started to kick up.
Oh, also, guys, don't say our ship crashed because they're going to assume we're from the ship that they salvaged, and they might want something from us. Say like Abs Corp dropped us here or something. Like, don't lie, but just don't say our ship crashed.
We just tell them we're scavengers. I'm sure Roar Green has plenty of them.
Yeah, that's true. You know, that worked too.
Shortly thereafter, you all approach, and when you get to about 30-40 feet away from these guards who are now well aware of your presence, as even those from the more southern entrance are watching you as you make your approach, a couple of them with their guns in a much more ready but lowered position. And as the three of you reach about 20 feet, one steps forward, raising a hand, gun in the other. Halt! Who are you? Where did you come from?
Scavengers? South?
As soon as you mention scavengers, the two in the back begin to raise their weapons slightly, and the one in the front squints his eyes, looking each of you up and down. You're quite funny looking for scavengers. I haven't seen scavengers that look like you in forever.
Crazy what you'll find in a crashed ship. Ships, jeeps, anything really. Banded.
Crashed ships. Is that the noise that we heard to the south? Are you part of... Are there more of you? As he begins to, again, ready his weapon as well.
Nope. I have no idea what happened with whatever that was to the south. We're not involved in it.
Then where did you crash? We only heard one set of explosions to the south.
Never said we crashed.
He squints his eyes and looking you up and down again. Then where did you come from?
I grew up on this planet.
Did you now?
Yes.
Give me a persuasion roll.
Sure. Just figure out what the button is. Come on. Oh, even with a modifier. Damn. I'm supposed to be kind of good at these. Actually, can I use my ability? I'm gonna modify that dice. I have an ability.
Okay.
Where is it?
This is something for the wild sorcerer stuff?
Yeah, Tides of Chaos.
Okay.
So I can re-roll a d20 essentially.
Remind me, was that once a day? Do you have to spend points for it?
First level, you can manipulate the force of change, gain advantage on one attack roll, ability check. Once you do so, I technically have to declare it beforehand. I would have. Sorry, that's a mistake on my part.
You have to make the claim before.
I could have got an advantage, but I would have had to declare it before I rolled.
Gotcha. All right.
So.
Well, giving you a bit of an inquisical stare, all right, fine. You were born here. raising his weapons, now pointing at you. The other two still more on guard, but not pointing their weapons directly at you. Tell me where you're from, then.
Edrison.
On the mention of Edrison, he lowers his gun slightly. Edrison, you say?
Yes.
And you've traveled all the way out here?
Yeah,
On
traveled around.
Foot? He kind of looks around and also kind of peeks behind you.
Foot now. I've driven in the past. I've walked. I've flown on ships. Just travel around.
But out here? On foot?
Yes, I clearly walked here, didn't I? I motioned to my feet and my boots that are probably pretty worn.
Looking to the two in the back, and neither of you look like you're from Aurora Green. How do you know this man?
I raise my hand a little bit. Oh, we're just weary travelers. We didn't come. We haven't been traveling on for entirety of our days of our time here. Our vehicle broke down a few days ago, and we've been traveling from cave to cave. Just got out of that nasty storm a day ago, and we're tired. And we saw this place you got here. I'm hoping that we can come in and you can share your tents. Put a little cover over our heads, at least just for a little while, and it will be out of your hair.
You were all caught up in a storm, you say? A catastrophe?
Yes.
Yes.
At the mention of this, they all then take a half step back, and the two in the back now raise their guns pointed towards you.
Oh, what now?
And you don't feel funny at all? You're fine?
We were in shelter. We didn't get caught in the storm.
Yeah, our vehicle broke down, but we got out of the storm before we were too close to it. Couldn't figure out what happened to the car.
Sam, I'm going to have you give me a persuasion roll as well with advantage. And you guys all spot that these guards look very, very tense. That was with advantage? Oh no, what happened?
I've
All
never
right.
seen a car in my life.
Out of curiosity.
Might be true.
Sorry.
Yeah, what's up?
Someone took one of the creatures we killed. Was that one of the group with us, or is that someone we left behind?
I have a mandible.
Someone took a body.
I have a mandible from one of the sectoids.
Are you with me? Sorry, I can't. I'm still learning.
Yes, Stadio, the one right behind you.
Oh shit. Sorry, I don't have Discord on that
Whispering
window.
sweet nothings into your ear.
I'll motion to you and ask you to produce it if I could.
Yeah.
I'll also warn the guards not to panic. We killed some creatures. We were sheltering in the cave, and I'll motion to Dario to produce the mandible thing.
Let's. Yeah, I found this. We found this in one of the caves that my colleague here had mentioned about.
Guard, the one that spoke, kind of takes a couple steps, inching forward, very unsure as he kind of peeks, almost like he's trying to keep his gaze as far away from it as possible. He kind of peeks down to what you're trying to show him. What the hell is that? I've never seen that before. My entire life I've been here.
You sure you're from this planet? That's pretty normal.
That is definitely not normal. That looks.
Being it not normal is exactly what's normal.
Is he okay?
Yeah.
Half the creatures on this planet are weird.
We've gone through a lot the last couple of days. Very low on energy.
Yeah, okay. And everyone who talks about things being not normal tends to ramble about just the absolute craziest things. And this one here is not really giving me the safest vibes. And he's fingering in the direction of Caden.
Are you from this planet?
Listen, as long as we keep clear of the catastrophes, we're just trying to move on and survive here. I mean, goddamn Earth Federation basically left us here to rot on our own. So we're making do.
Evacuations? Are you not going to evacuate with the evacuations?
Listen, not everyone gets to evacuate. AbsCorp has... We don't really understand what kind of criteria they require to get you off planet, but we've been stuck here. And he gestures with the thumb back to the camp. Everyone here has been stuck here. And if it wasn't for Banuk, we'd be stuck here for who knows how long. Probably dead. But... No, hold up. Give me 1 second. Yeah, go ahead.
It sounds like our goals are aligned then. Like I said earlier, we're just looking for a little roof for our heads. And if you guys have been here for a while, then maybe a rambler man might entertain you all. We all need some rest, him especially, and then he can share some stories. I'm sure you guys are bored listening to each other.
Listen, until I hear back from the boss, we're not going to let you in. You're all very new looking. I mean, this one here, as he points he gestures with his weapon towards Dario. This one looks like he might have been around the block, but you're talking some craziness, and what the hell is the technician doing on Aurora Green? We haven't seen your folk here since the catastrophe started to hit.
Then maybe it's a good thing I'm here.
Yeah, maybe you can use his services, my friend's services, while he's here.
You guys have things, it kind of looks like your parts are in shambles. Could take a look.
We'd be willing to help for at least a little bit of shelter and any food you can spare.
Each of you give me a persuasion. And
Okay, theoretically, I should be good at these.
not you.
Oh.
Yeah, you weren't talking just now.
Dario,
with his eyes.
With his eyes.
With
Yeah.
his eyes.
Yeah, my
Special eyes.
shifty looking eyes. Is like,
I got a 6.
15.
Okay. He's skeptical. His expression is skeptical as he looks at each of you again. It's like, well, looking back to the others, one of them's just shaking his head in like no, and the other isn't really giving him much body language to gesture. Tell you what, I'm gonna need you guys to wait here. I sent someone in. They're gonna let the boss know that we have some new visitors. As he kind of pauses again to look at each of you, and give it a little while. When he comes back, he'll be able to make a decision. Listen, my job here is just to keep a lookout, make sure none of the weird fucking creatures come near the camp, and I don't even...
See,
I don't...
weird creatures.
Yeah, but nothing ever that big. Where did you... That was nearby?
It was in a cave, like a few miles from where we came from.
A few miles? As he looks way more panicked, sounds more panicked, kind of leaning forward. God damn. And you said it was a mandible, right? Which is like... Yeah. So he's... Alright. Okay. One of you can come in, take that with you. I'm going to bring you to someone. Tell him, show him, he has a map, you see, and maybe you could tell him where you found that. This guy clearly doesn't seem to know what he's doing. As looking to the rest of you, here, there's some benches over here. You guys mind waiting like 20 minutes, and then the boss should be back by then.
Okay.
Yeah, that works for me.
Sounds like one of you guys are going.
Shit, who's going?
I'm gonna take my hammer and I'm gonna put it hold it in front of me. I'm gonna sit on the bench. and then just hold my hammer and wait for one of you guys to go in
What do you mean? Like, how are you holding your hammer? Like, I'm just curious.
with both my hands, and I'm sitting on the bench, and the hammer's in front of me, kind of resting both my palms.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Like
Okay.
a water
Are you, like,
bottle.
just straight
A
arming
great
it out,
hammer.
like so you know, like, you can hold it like a workout. Like,
Just gotta get those gains.
Dario, are you going or am I?
Well, you have a little bit more familiarity with the area.
Great. Okay. Looks like it's me.
Yeah, so I would just say, be friendly with them. I'm sure there's nothing for us to hide.
At least we didn't bring Koji.
And I go ahead and hand him the mandible.
Ugh. Yep. Thanks.
And Dario goes and sits next to Sam.
So, Dario, what do you wager? You think he comes out in cuffs? Run it?
Motherfucker, you betting on him whether I get like executed next?
I give him a few minutes before they toss him out.
If he's tossed out, might be the best ending. Just be ready.
I would like to just track Caden as much as I can.
Sure. And Maxine.
While we're sitting on the bench, I also want to see if there's like vehicles that might look open, like someone had gotten out of it, or if I see someone put like keys down somewhere.
So if I heard earlier, you guys decided to approach from the south, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, you can give me a perception roll. Actually, no, your perception might be enough. Yeah, your perception's high enough. Yeah, looking around, there's no vehicles nearby. None that are at least within reach outside where you guys are currently sitting. And you do recall that kind of on the northern side of the camp, there seem to have been some vehicles, but looking around here, the only vehicles that are within view are the ones that seem to be used as, again, kind of like RVs, right? Makeshift kind of homes almost. Unless you're looking for something particular with one of these makeshift looking homes.
Not at the moment.
Okay. But the guard, seeing that a couple of you guys have taken a seat, and kind of walks off with Caden as he tells the others to keep an eye out, as the one that had run inside had also returned. Boss knows he'll be back in like 15-20. But the guard that was speaking to you, so you're making it sound like this thing, as he gestures with the tip of his gun again,
Like wobble the mandible at him.
is normal around here. Now,
This entire planet's fucked. How am I the only one who realizes this?
this entire planet is definitely a little fucked, but where did you even find a creature that had that? Doesn't even look like it's from this planet.
Yeah, I didn't ask it. We just killed it.
And you said it was only like a handful of miles from here?
Talking to the DM, that was about right. I just picked a couple of miles. I don't actually remember how far we traveled.
Give me a history roll thinking about it.
I'm not good at these. I'm not bad at these.
Yeah, it was absolutely like a handful of miles. Maybe like 8.
Okay. Yep, sounds good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a couple miles away. And we had to shelter from the storm, so we went in a cave, and these things were in there, and they were not very happy. And we killed them, and then we sheltered out the storm and left.
I mean, a creature that had something like that hanging off of it, it must have been a good 8 feet tall or something, right?
Something like that.
Well, he takes you within the camp as he still eyes you from time to time, making sure that you're still following suit. And walking within this camp, you do find that many of the individuals here do seem to just be doing what looks like daily errands. Towards the center, you see near the white smoke, there seems to be like a communal cooking area where a bunch of people are creating kind of large batches of meals. Closer towards the edges, you do see what appear to be, kind of from the inside at least, very, very kind of open layout, almost like camping tents, structures covered up, walls made out of, like, again, that sheet metal. And people just seem to be walking kind of in and out of a few of these structures. And he then takes you back to one of the larger structures where there seems to be a large truck that is being used to kind of create a central point. And from it, there seems to be several makeshift hallways that were made out of kind of more sheet metal. On the exterior, there seems to be folks performing various tasks. Some of them are sitting there sewing clothes together. Others seem to be kind of setting up a fire and trying to heat up some metal, though what they're making with it, you can't quite tell at the moment. And he takes you into what appears to be a bit of a curtain door and leads you to this interior tent area, which then leads to, again, these makeshift hallways, which it looks very, very kind of maybe like Mad Max style, like inner city, where you're kind of looking through like chain link and you can still see outside. It's a little dusty, being kind of out in the plains. So a lot of the people have kind of face coverings or something to protect themselves from a bit of direct light from the soul of the system. And eventually you come to the interior of what appears to be this large kind of haul, not really a hauling truck, but a container of sorts. And within, there's what appears to be a bunch of electronics, as there's monitors up against the walls, and there's maps laid out on kind of like a makeshift bench on the opposite side. There's a handful of people. All of them, they seem to be much more heavily armored and geared. Not heavily is the wrong word. Much better quality armored than those that you saw outside. And though the quality does appear to be better, the material still seems to be a bit makeshift and slapped together. It almost seems more like the better materials are used on the individuals who are currently operating within this command center of sorts. But the man continues to lead you closer towards the back, where there is a bit of a table with a map laid out, and an individual with some glasses and some messy hair. Not Dr. Kelso, but much more tired, and appears to be someone who looks like he hasn't slept in a good week or so. Like he looks pretty ragged. Sir, as the guard that brought you here speaks up, and the man with a slow expression looks up. Yes, what is it, Lucas? I brought you somebody. He looks over to you again. What did you say that you were?
Caden?
This guy's name is Caden. He came with two others who I had wait outside, and they've been traveling. Sounds like looks over to you again. Is it like days, weeks?
From where? Like, we've been traveling for a while, but this was only about 8 miles away, and I wave like the thing around.
The other guy looks really just uninterested in you, hasn't really even given you much attention yet. Well, they said their vehicle broke down a while back, and they've been walking on foot and camping out in caves, and they found this. He points with his finger to whatever you're swinging around. And
I imagine it's kind of like a foot-long hot dog.
yeah, like just wiggling it. We let Banuk's on the way back, but I figured maybe this information about where he found this. He said it was kind of close, so thought maybe you'd like to know. And with a slow, again, his movements are slow, but very purposeful, as he takes a moment looking at who he had called Luca, and kind of shakes his head, or not shakes his head, tilts his head left to right, before then slowly turning it towards you. Caden, you said.
Mm-hmm.
And what can we do for you, Caden?
We were just looking for somewhere to shelter for a sec, get some supplies, and continue on our way.
I see. Well, supplies here are quite low. We're actually getting ready for another catastrophe. If you've been paying attention at all to the north, the one nearby is beginning to fizzle, so we're actually going to be getting ready to move out here in the next 48 hours or so. If you are looking for just a place to stay for the night, a little bit of shelter, you're welcome to. If you like food, you're welcome to that as well, but you're going to have to talk to the folks distributing it, possibly trade. We, again, short on resources. And this thing, he pauses.
Oh, continue, sorry.
Okay. His eyes then shift down and settle to the object that you're holding. What is that?
I believe it's called a mandible. It's like a mouth on an insectoid.
He looks...
I waved around some more.
Looking at you swinging around. And what creature did this come from?
A very large insectoid creature.
May I? As he extends his arms.
Sure, I just give it over to him. I don't really care.
He takes it. He kind of looks at it, puts it up to the light. Tries to... Looks like he's trying to...
Like licks it or something.
He looks like he's trying to bend it. And he takes a knife out from somewhere down by his waist and kind of clinks against it as it makes a very, very hard and very organically hard material. Huh. You might be able to use this to make some weapons. Is it... Luca said it was nearby.
Yeah, about 8 miles. A few miles, I don't know, somewhere in.
His eyes shift over to Luca, and 8 miles? How did our scouts not find creatures that of this size, as he holds it up and kind of marvels at it?
They're hidden in a cave.
In a cave, you say? Where? Can you show me on the map here? Is he there's a very roughly sketched map of the rough area that you're within, and you do see on the map that there are some areas that are not filled out, and the direction that you had come from appears to be blank, as the rough area that the map that he has shown you points out is there seems to be on the top left, and I'm just going to use cardinal directions to keep it simple, but on the top left there seems to be kind of a body of land, and to the top right there seems to be another kind of body of land, and then a bit of a horizontal that separates it. So if I had to draw it out real quick just to give you a better idea, can I do this? Let's reposition. Why is nothing being selected? Come on. All right, I'm gonna reposition this down here for a little bit behind me. And the map itself seems to have, come on, I don't know what it is, but so I have a pen that I can draw, and I was really looking forward to trying to use it in Foundry, and it's very sticky, unfortunately, in the sense that I click the screen and sometimes it works like it just did, and sometimes it just doesn't. There it goes. All right. So this is very, very high level, just topography here, but what you're seeing is a bit of a grayed out area down here. You see a bit of a landmass that seems to be grayed out here, up here, and then the area down below is kind of where the focus sets in. From here, there's like a mountain range. There's kind of a wavy symbol along the edge towards the north. And he points and says, this is where we are. And right now, we're currently trying to scout a bit towards the south. You see up north, there was that catastrophe going off. And at the moment, at least, we're hoping to continue southward. But this thing that you found, you say it came from where?
I'll point out on the map the best I can of to where I think it is.
Yeah, give me a history roll.
Okay.
All right. You roughly mark somewhere in the kind of southeast eastern direction, somewhere like over here somewhere.
I'll explain it very similar to that too. Like somewhere over here, I don't know exactly where.
Yeah, appropriate. And he looks at you and it's like, what? Are you sure?
Yeah, that's where we came from.
You came from the Salted Lands.
I didn't know they had a name.
I thought... Oh, sorry. Luca speaks up and looks towards you. I thought you said you lived on...
I traveled, didn't know it. Yeah, but I don't know the names of everywhere I've been.
Have you been living under a rock all these years?
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
He just looks at you with the eyes of disbelief and skepticism. But the gentleman with the glasses looks at you with a hard stare. So you're saying you came from the lands where the ground was hard and you found a cave. And within a cave, you found creatures that had these. Pulling up the mandible. Was it by itself, or were there many of them?
We saw a few, but I don't know how many.
That's troubling. The catastrophes, if they pass and creatures emerge, the creatures are generally changed.
Yes, I'm aware of those.
It was rhetorical. So, this place may not be safe for much longer. Once Banuk gets back, we're going to have a chat with him and see if we can't try to continue southward.
Why not north? Is there something to the north? Oh, the storm. Shit, never mind. Forgot to say anything.
Well, it's going to depend. It's going to depend because we don't know where the next catastrophe will land. So we currently have some of our scouts spread out. We heard the other day there was a loud explosion to the south, so some of our folks had gone down to take a look and see what that was all
We
about.
heard that, but we didn't know what it was.
Well, when the one that is in charge here gets back, I'm sure they'll enlighten us.
So are we free to trade for some goods and stuff?
How many people do you have with you?
3.
And how long do you plan to stay here?
Like a day. We haven't really planned that far ahead.
All right. Luca, you could let them in. I'll talk to Banuk about it. But if you wish to get something out of this place, you're going to have to trade for it. And if we catch you doing anything inappropriate, as his eyes narrow, we will kill you.
I figured.
All right. Well, I got to finish plotting where this next catastrophe is going to land. You guys can get out of here now as he kind of shoos you away and his eyes focus
before I
back to his
go,
desk. Yes.
Can I bring 2 other people?
Yeah, you just told me there's 3 of you.
2 additional. I
So-
said I had 3 with me. I didn't say there was only 3 of us. Or 2 with me, sorry.
So there's 5 of you.
Yes.
Well, as long as you have materials to trade, it shouldn't be an issue. Luca, keep an eye out on these guys. But yeah, when Banuk gets back, we'll find you.
See ya. Can I have my mandible back?
This is the entrance fee.
Fine. Enjoy your tip.
He goes back to his work, and Luca just kind of he taps your arm and says, let's go, let's get out of here. And ushers you back out and begins to kind of retrace his steps back the way you guys came to then reconvene with the others. But well, that went better than expected. Usually Cedar's not so nice with strangers.
Good tell.
Would you say good tell?
I could tell. He didn't seem too happy to see me. Why does Cedar look so stressed?
It's always like that whenever a catastrophe is about to go away. It never seems to end, and it always seems to appear where you least want him to. So Cedar, as much of an attitude as he might have from time to time, he's probably one of the only reasons we've been alive this long, thanks to the way he organizes our scouting parties to kind of go out and find out where the catastrophe may drop next. We've been able to quickly mobilize and keep ourselves moving and stay diligent and stay alive.
Are you guys from Edgerton as well, though?
Maybe a few folks here are from Edgerton. I only know of it because I had visited years ago when I was a child. My father took me there for don't really know what, but he disappeared a few years later, and I haven't really cared about Edgerton ever since. But I'm aware. But you're a long way from Edgerton. Edgerton's days, if not months away.
Yeah, I was wandering. I grew up in Edgerton, but I haven't been there.
What do you mean?
Since well, you heard about what happened, right?
we're on Aurora Green. There's something happening all the time.
Like half of Ederson was like incinerated.
Oh, you're talking about that cleansing shit that people talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, our boss, Banuk, he talks about it from time to time, saying that some unimaginable monster came out of the flames and destroyed everything, and he decided it wasn't worth it. Left it, never looked back. But yeah, I don't know. He says it haunts his dreams from time to time, and I don't know. I haven't seen anything that crazy, so. But I don't know. Maybe you and him will get along. You two seem to tell pretty interesting tales.
Maybe you won't think I'm as crazy as everyone else.
Well, trust me, people thought Banuk was crazy too, but Banuk can hold his own, and he's been helping to keep us safe, and actually goes out on the front lines while the people like me just stand guard. So I don't know you well enough, but who knows? Maybe. And around this time, you start to see the kind of outer perimeter as you make it around one of the structures, and you will find sitting there Sam and Dario. Which were you guys doing anything while we were gone?
I was just
Someone's gonna pay up. I'm not handcuffed.
joining just Sam's company. Not unless, Sam, you were distracted.
No, sitting here, looking around, disgruntled by the shitty machinery I see around.
Not gonna argue about that. It's already tough enough to find spare parts, but hey, tell you what, if you can fix some of the vehicle issues that we're having, maybe I can convince the others to give you a free meal, perhaps.
They took the mandible as an entrance fee.
Well, sorry, Dario. I don't know if you needed that, but guess not bringing that back.
Well, if it's a fair trade, and as long as it gets us a nice, good entrance into the place, thank you, Caden. Nah, we'll think of it as a worthwhile transaction.
And as far as fixing your vehicles, happy to take a look, but depends on the shape it's in. We can see what I can do.
All right. So, this guy's nervousness seems to have kind of mellowed out a little bit, but looking about. So you said there was two more.
They were suspicious of... We didn't know who you were, so they stayed outside.
Well, where the hell are they?
I don't actually know. I just know they're out there. They kind of... I can go get out there and yell, and they'll probably come out.
Can we just leave the names at the gate?
You could do that too. Description and a name.
No, Cedar had asked me to keep an eye on you guys, so unfortunately, until Banuk gets back, I'll give you guys some space, but we're
at the front gate now, right?
There's really no gate. It's really more just an entry, an opening into how they've kind of set up their compound, and it's otherwise fairly open.
Try to be very visible, like wave my hands over my head, trying to get someone's attention, and then like do like a come here motion in the direction of where we left Maxine.
Okay, Maxine, your perception is pretty damn high, if I'm not mistaken. 15, was it? Yeah.
Yep.
You're going to spot that. Having kept an eye out, you did lose Caden a bit when he went inside one of the kind of structures. But a handful of minutes later, maybe a good 10, 20 minutes later, he came out seem pretty much unharmed. They made their way back to the entrance, and they seem to be having a conversation until you see Caden just kind of picking up his arm, looking around, and waving a gesture of approach and come here.
Well, they clearly know we're out here now, so looks like we're expected to approach.
Finally, that took fucking forever.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it's been a good 40 minutes plus that you've been waiting out here.
Just saying, we split the party not once, but 3 times, and nobody died.
Hopefully that'll be a trend.
Yeah, hopefully hiding behind a rock doesn't just burst out into some creature that kills you when you split the party like this. But as Koji and Maxine approach, takes them a handful of minutes to get over there, but they do. And you guys do spot them kind of approaching once they get a good 60, 90 feet out. And around the time that the other two get to, say, maybe 30 feet or so, the other guards kind of, well, they look up as well and recognize them. And I need to do a thing. Okay. The Luca, kind of seeing their approach, taps you off on the arm, Caden. Are these the two that are with you? And his voice sounds a bit more urgent.
Yes? What's wrong with them?
And are they safe? As you, looking back to Luca and Dario and Sam, you'll all notice this as well, but all 3 guards here are now posturing a very defensive, combative form.
Safe might not be the word for it, but as of now, they mean you no harm.
They're friendly, they don't bite. Like, I don't know what the issue is, Luca.
Well, we'll see when they get closer, but I hope I'm wrong, but...
Do you have something against blue hair?
Don't do anything that might cause your group to be frowned upon, is all I'll say. As his eyes has not left the two approaching since they have been spotted.
I've been nothing but cordial, Luca. I gave you my mandible. That sounded inappropriate. I gave you something.
Well, Maxine and Koji, neither of you are unfamiliar to the posture of an opponent. And as you get to about that 30-20 foot mark, you clearly notice that the body language of these new strangers that you are, that your other members of the group are having loose conversation with, seem to have tensed to a point where it only seems to be escalating as you get closer.
I will try and stand between them and try to be like easy, like let's talk it out. Don't start shooting or anything. I'll try to kind of calm things down because I don't really know what's going on.
Get out of the way, Caden.
Well, just let's talk it out. Like, what's the issue? You still haven't said what the issue is. What's the issue?
We're just playing it safe. Okay,
if you're playing it safe, you don't need to shoot them yet. So I can stand here.
We're not shooting anybody yet, but get out of the way, Caden.
You still haven't said why.
And Maxine and Koji, you guys are starting to hear a bit of a raised voices as Caden kind of steps in front of one of the individuals and begins raising his voice as well.
gonna kind of lean over to Maxine and which one of us do you think they're after?
It's hard to say. You're valuable.
Damn right I am.
Maybe just a bit of introductions and everyone will calm down a little bit.
Yes, this is Sam, and that's Dario, and those are our other friends. That's Maxine, and I forget the other guy's name. He's a dick, but
Come in with us. You got Maxine over there, the blue-haired woman, one of those toughest nails. She's pretty quiet, but she's very skilled in what she does.
Oh, I
And
bet
then
she
you got-
is.
Yeah, and then you got our friend Kay.
so it's Maxine that you don't like. Then you seem suspicious of her. What's wrong with Maxine?
Caden, I'm going to need you to shut your mouth and get out of my way now.
I will once you tell me what's going on. I'm trying to resolve this without people getting shot, and you still haven't said what the issue is.
Caden, give me a persuasion roll with disadvantage.
Oh no, disadvantage.
And Maxine and Koji,
Oh, not
do
great.
either of you change your stride or do you continue to approach?
I'm continuing to approach.
Yeah, I'll more or less follow his lead.
Okay.
And saying we've got our friend Kay here. Big buff guy. Speaks with spiders. Sheds his red skin for every once in a while. And the one's gonna punch your face if you don't get out of the way.
Sam. Whatever. It's done now. Whatever.
Sam, I need you to give me a charisma check.
So you're gonna get me shot, Sam. Talk to
Check.
spiders, red skin.
11.
Okay. As you guys continue to try to de-escalate whatever the heck has got these guards all tensed up all of a sudden, they seem to have changed their demeanor quite quickly, as the three of them have taken a much more, what appears to be like reserve army kind of practiced, right? Like it's definitely practiced, but it's missing a sense of like having years and years of experience under your belt. There's something a bit amateur about their posture and movements. However, they all seem to have a very fixated posture in the direction of Maxine and Koji. And as the two of you finally regroup with the others, Luca speaks up once again, kind of stepping to the side of Caden and not being very gentle with using his weapon to kind of push Caden to the side a bit.
Whoa, Luca.
The two of you, who are you affiliated with?
Atlan Grove. Have you heard of it? You locals?
Give me a persuasion roll with advantage.
16.
Yeah, I know of it. But of course you would know of it. Who are you affiliated
it.
with?
You see the armor, and that's all that matters.
He's waiting.
ASEC. But first and foremost,
I need you to give me a dexterity
Atlan
saving
Grove.
throw.
Dexterity saving throw.
Both of us, or just Maxine?
Just Maxine.
That's 10.
All right. As you mentioned AbsCorp, one of the guards behind Luca kind of pushes forward. I fucking knew it! And begins to take a couple shots in your direction. And fortunately, as soon as she spoke up, you immediately react and dodge and duck under a couple of shots that just shoot into the air and land at the ground behind you, Maxine. Whereas if you had not moved, they likely would have hit you. God damn it, Tina! I said, ah. And Luca reaches over, grabs the gun, and points it downwards. Stand down. Finish what you were saying. The others still pointing their weapon at you.
And foremost, Atlan Grove. You know, ASEC, they call me Dust Patriot. Because of the love that I have for my homeland, for my people, and all of that has been left dust. They trained us better than to do this kind of nonsense. And I'm just gonna blatantly gesture at Tina. And when I say they, I don't mean ASEC.
Then why do you fly their colors? As the other guard kind of steps around and speaks up.
I did what I had to do to survive and to continue working here.
All right. This is how we're going to do this. You and your friends, as he kind of head gestures in the direction of Caden, you and your friends can come in. But this one, we're going to have to lock up until Banuk gets back. He's the only one that can make a decision about this one.
So what's the issue with her? I still don't... There's all these names. What's the issues?
What do you mean, what's the issue? She's part of Abs Corp. She's part of Dynasty. For all we know, they're the ones that caused this mess.
It's a lot of assumptions. It's a massive corporation.
Everything was going fine until Abs Corp showed up. If you've been here on Edgerton, or if you've been here on Aurora Green, you should know that.
I am from here. Abs Corp was here prior to it happening.
Yeah, and you don't think it's strange that everything goes to shit as soon as Ab Corp shows up? And then once it does go to shit, they're the first ones to get off this rock.
No, it just sounds like they have a lot of money.
Bah, I don't believe it. Well, we can't make this decision. Banuk is going to have to be the one to make it. And until then, we're going to have to lock this one up.
I could turn to Maxine and see if she's going to do anything. Like, this is her call, essentially.
You want to fight these guys, or like...
Excuse me? As he points his gun in your direction.
These soldiers, as regardless of the hot-headedness of some of them, they're protecting people. They have a purpose here. They're doing good work, but if we start a fight with them, if we try to do anything against them, these people are left unprotected. That doesn't sound like a good idea to me.
No, that's not how we do it either. Alright.
Fine. How about this? Can we get some food and we'll leave? We'll trade for a few things. Maxine can stay outside if that's what you feel like. We'll get a few things and we'll leave.
Give me... So Maxine, I need you to give me a charisma check. And Caden, I need you to give me a persuasion roll.
I'm going to use my Tides of Chaos here so I get advantage. Also means that if I do anything today, we're going to have to look at that chart. There's no
Okey-doke.
button. Did we need it?
Cool.
Okay.
And can you also link your Tides Chaos or whatever it was?
Sure.
So I can glance at it real quick.
This
Right.
button, I think.
Maxine, you had rolled an 8.
Mm-hmm.
And Aiden managed to roll a 20 with advantage. All right. Well, I guess that'd be fine. If she stays out here, then the folks inside won't cause a ruckus. Johnny can keep an eye on her. Tina, you're coming with me. As he looks towards the one who took the shots earlier. And you guys just want food, nothing else?
Well, we might trade for some other things if you have it, but really food and water and won't be on our way.
I was kind of hoping for a bed to sleep in too, but guess that's not on the table.
Yeah, just no.
Well, Cedar already said that if you guys would like to stay, accommodations might be able to be made as long as you have something to trade for it. But again, Banuk is the one that has to make the final call here. And with her here, that may complicate
talking about
things.
fair trade. So far from what I've seen, we've given you information about dangerous beasts. We've offered to fix your vehicles. We've given you a mandible. And you've given us nothing in return. So we keep talking about trade, but we haven't seen anything come our way.
Give me a persuasion roll, if that's the intention here.
My persuasion is going great today.
Hey.
Hey!
Yeah, that
was
might be
almost
something.
great.
That might be something. All right, fine, fair. So what would you have in exchange?
We're not looking for a lot. Just a place to rest, including our friend here. I know we don't really want her locked up. If you want to keep a couple guards in front of where we're staying, fine.
Okay. Well, that decision still is not something that I can make. The problem here is that Banuk is the one that has to make the call. And we don't trust Dynasty here. Not this group. We have too many people who have lost loved ones. And Abscorp didn't bat an eye towards any of us. Hell, they won't even let us be refugees and take one of their shuttles to get off of this rock. So as far as we're concerned, they want us to die here. And a lot of the people here feel that way. And if they see those colors walking around, it's not going to end pretty. So I suggest you either let me take her into custody until Banuk gets back, or you guys come in, do your trade, and be gone.
You said Banuk would be back in like 20 minutes, an hour?
Should be. He went with the other scouting. He went with one of the scouting parties to the south, checking out that explosion that we had heard the other night.
How about we sit on the bench and just wait for him?
What if she just takes the armor off? Will that do it? She won't be wearing the colors then.
Well, I can already tell you're not the brightest one in this group, but no, that's not going to work. We've already seen her. We already know she's part of Dynasty. She's already admitted she's a part of Abscorp. So how's that going to change anything?
She won't be wearing the colors. Nobody else will.
Listen, again, you guys aren't hearing me. I can't make this call. It has to be made by Banuk. He's the one that everyone here listens to. And if he makes that call, fine. But until then, we can't guarantee anything.
Let's sit down on the bench, have a drink, eat some food. We have a little bit left, and see what happens.
These people are on edge already. They don't want me here. I should just go.
Alright, let's just make our trades and we'll leave. We'll get some food, some water, and we'll just be out of your head.
My advice, and he hesitates for a moment and looks back towards the other two. Looks like one of them is being, or not one of them, but looks like the man is keeping a close eye on the one who has their weapon lowered now, the one that shot earlier. But the catastrophe to the north, we believe it's ending soon. And anytime a catastrophe ends, another one starts up nearby. My advice to you guys would be to stick around. Whether to wait for Banuk out here, or to let us just take her into custody and hope that Banuk likes her, and let you guys walk about. We've... Cedar, the one that you met, gesturing to Caden.
Glasses.
He's been able to get us through a good half dozen of these catastrophes when, under normal circumstances, we probably would have walked right into it.
You guys see Sam's eyes light up, and he jumps in front of Luke and goes, "You can tell when these catastrophes are going to happen. How?"
That he begins to look really nervous. I shouldn't be the one talking about this, but the point stands. If you want to leave, my suggestion would be to stick around until after we decide which direction to go. At least that way you guys might have some comfort in knowing that you're not walking right into your death.
Alright. Guys,
Maxine,
group huddle. Side huddle. Side huddle.
Oh, sure. Okay. Can we have a second to decide this, Luca?
He gestures in like a fine motion.
Maxine, do you need anything? We'll go in there, we'll trade for you. Guys, I want to find out how they tell when the next storm is coming. Imagine
Close.
the technology
Armor,
could do for the
maybe?
people of this planet. People might be able to live here safely.
Yeah. I could do with a new look, but other than that, I don't need anything.
I think we could find you some new wardrobe. That should be easy enough to do.
Other than that, I think,
Tell you guys what, why don't we take a couple-minute break here and go into a little intermission for some top off of beverages and bio and all that goodness, and you guys think about how you want to proceed.
Sounds good.
sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
All right, everyone, we will be back in a minute or two, and until then, we're going to go into a quick little intermission. See y'all in a bit. All right, everyone, we are back after a short little intermission. Thanks for hanging in there. And we are jumping into a situation where the party is having a bit of an argument with some guards folks outside of the settlement that they have found,
They
where
have names.
Maxine is currently facing a bit of discrimination due to the colors that she is wearing from Dynasty. And Luca, the guard who has accompanied Caden to meet with someone of importance within the camp, while the main boss is Banuk, is currently out on a little scouting or recon expedition, who should be returning maybe in another 10-15 minutes or so, has given them a choice. A few choices, actually, that they have been discussing, which is the group may decide to wait outside until Banuk returns. They may enter and do some trade while Maxine stays outside under the watch of the guards and perform what trade that they wish to do under the condition that they leave if they wish not to speak with Banuk when he returns. Or the group may enter, and Maxine also may enter, but Maxine will be taken into custody until Banuk is able to return and come to a decision. And with that, Luca and the other guards stand there. Weapons not drawn, lowered now. One still kind of keeping a bit of an eye out in the back as a couple other guards have appeared from the other posts to where the group is. And Luca stands there, kind of looking about the group, waiting for them to have made their decision after they had huddled to discuss.
We probably should have decided that before we came back from break.
Well, you guys can still do the huddle now.
I'm going in. I want to figure out what this machine is that they use to figure out the storms.
It might not be a machine. Maybe he uses those, those sticks for finding water. I forget what they're called.
Even so, that in itself is technology.
I always thought it was a little heebie-jeebie, not really, but okay.
All of science is a little heebie-jeebie till you figure it out.
I guess.
Could you point me the way to go? Did you meet the guy?
You'd have to ask Luca about that, because I'm pretty sure you're not going to be able to get in to talk to him. He's, in the high security area of the camp.
Well, I still want to give it a try.
Okay.
And Maxine, I guess stay out of here. Keep an eye out.
Would you like to get arrested, or would you like to not get arrested?
No. It's like they said, they don't want me here. I'm just gonna kind of step away from the group, looking back to them still and say, I'm better off just leave you on my own. Maybe if I'm lucky, I'll see you again another time. And I'm just gonna start walking back, not back the way I came, just off, maybe around the north way.
Hold on. You don't gotta leave just yet. We're on here trying to find the same mission. We're just looking for 30 minutes. If we're not out by 30 minutes, sure, be on your way. We just want to recoup, get our stuff, get some gear, and we want to get out of here as fast as we can as well.
I'm just gonna kind of wave a hand at Sam and just keep moving.
All right. Maxine keeps stepping away as you all watch.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess, Maxine, we're...
Maxine, you're going to be making your way up north, and if you would, I'm going to come back to you in a little bit, but give me an idea. Yeah.
Can I speak up?
Sure.
Yeah.
Coach is gonna break away from the group and look over at the guy and go, you asked who we're affiliated with. The name's Koji Akiyama, 16th District of Akiyama. Got any problems with that? Let me know now.
Shit.
You just realized.
Out of character, I knew, but
you're speaking to the main guard that's been talking, right, Luca?
Yeah, whoever was pointing the gun at me.
just to be fair, Caden did say that in character, by the way.
Sorry, who the hell are you?
Oh, like nothing. Damn, I was hoping that would like. All right.
You forget this is a backwater in the middle of an apocalypse.
Yeah, but my family used to like own this planet or some shit. I don't know. Figured he might as well have tried.
Whoa, wait a minute. Akiyama. This was years ago. What the hell are you doing here?
That's a very good question.
Who the fuck are you? Who the fuck are you to ask? I'm here on business. What do you expect?
Oh boy.
Well, you guys are asking to get into our settlement here. Sorry for asking questions, as he gestures to the other guards people that are standing besides him and also picking up like the weapon that he's holding. We're just trying to find out if you guys are going to be a threat to us or not.
We just wanted to get some supplies.
I wasn't planning on it, but you keep pointing that gun at me and I might be.
Give me an intimidation roll.
Hey!
All right. Yeah, with Koji kind of puffing up his chest and making a little bit of a scene, dropping the Akiyama name, and with Luca recalling that Akiyama does have some what's the word? It's does have some weight in this sector
Clout.
of the Expanse. Listen, we don't have any problems with the Akiyama folks. All right, at this point he's kind of raising his arms in a bit of protest or in surrender. But still, that doesn't change the fact that she, pointing in the distance to where Maxine is slowly getting further and further away, she's still part of Dynasty. And a lot of the people here were turned away by AbsCorp. Why? I don't know. But again, Banuk is the one that people here respect. Not you, pointing at Koji. Not you, pointing at Caden. And sure as hell enough, not her, pointing out at Maxine. Listen. If you guys are really here just for supplies, and if you've really come all this way on foot, that's impressive. And I'm not looking to make enemies with any of you, but we have people we need to protect. At least we're trying to. Doesn't mean we haven't lost people either. So
Listen, I don't know a lot about that chick out there. I know that with the clout that she's carrying, she could probably... All of us here could have leveled this place before we even got here. If we meant you any threat, you'd be fucking gone. Let her come in, let her walk around with us, keep a fucking guard on us for all I fucking care, but don't just let her walk off like that. You act like you have fucking empathy, but then you're just gonna let another fucking human being go. Who the fuck are you? The fuck is your problem, man?
As I said, asshole.
as Koji's talking, Luca's posture begins to kind of slump, and the other guards also kind of begin to look down at Koji's harsh but words that with some truth behind it. God damn it, you guys are going to get me killed. All right, fine. Go get her. She can come in. He doesn't want to do it. But he, in frustration, he gurs and looks to the others. I'll keep an eye on her. I'll show them around inside. But if she does any funny business, I'm not going to be responsible for her safety. You guys got that?
Yeah, whatever, man.
Thanks, Luca.
And I heard you.
What should I warn you? He'll punch your face in.
I did say he was an asshole.
Well, I believe you guys. Now, you gonna get her? She's getting pretty far away.
Maxine, get the fuck back here.
Maxine, it's a bit hard to hear, but Koji's voice carries, and you pick up that they just called out your name.
Yeah, all right. I'll go back.
Thought about it.
I was kind of stop for a second, off in the distance, and then just turn and start walking back. Kind of pick up the pace.
As Maxine returns, or is on the way back, Luca turns to Tina, who is you couldn't tell very well initially, but until she spoke up. But Luca turns, Tina, can you bring like a sash or something? You have something like we have a spare jacket or something, right? Like, if I'm going to be walking around with these people, I don't want too many eyes on us. Can you go get her something before she gets back, and just do it? And reluctantly, one runs off, and the other gentleman, so you, coming over to Sam, you said that you might have some skills with machinery, right?
Well, it comes with being me. Been around machines all my life.
You mind if I borrow this one? I'm gonna take him over to the mechanic, see if maybe they can't figure out some resolution to one of our vehicles that's been acting up. See if we can't salvage it before it becomes scrap.
That's up to him.
Sure. Got a bit of free time?
Sam, we're fixing stuff.
Luca just
Give
gives
us some food or something, or some clothes for Maxine.
Luca gives you guys a nod, and Sam, this guy gestures to you to come with him as he begins to kind of walk along the circumference of the camp, along the direction that Maxine initially started to kind of walk off in, towards the north.
As I am leaving earshot with this guy, the rest of the party hears me say, "So, tell me, how do you guys figure out where the next catastrophe is coming?"
I'm going to yell after Sam, ask for Cedar.
Sorry. So, just to make sure I got everyone's positions right. So Maxine's coming back. One of the guards ran off, and the gentleman that was talking to Sam is walking. And Sam, you're asking your question about the catastrophes to this gentleman?
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right, we'll come back to you as well.
Gotta walk and talk. Gotta figure it out as I go.
And then Caden, your mention about Cedar. Who are you talking to?
I was yelling that at Sam as he walked away.
Gotcha. Sam, you would have been close enough with Caden yelling it to hear the name Cedar.
I'm actually gonna go with Sam. If that's what he's looking for, I'm gonna go with Sam because I'm curious about that as well.
Well, I think I'm being led to fix a vehicle.
Yeah, but otherwise I was just gonna go shopping, and I feel like if you get that information, or maybe I can help you get that information. I want to get it as well, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Caden, you run off as well, mentioning that you want to stick with Sam, and you guys split up. Dario, Koji and Maxine, as Maxine approaches the group once again. The other two, Maxine, you see them kind of run off past you with one of the other guards. And before you are let in, you guys are asked to wait a couple minutes while the female returns with a bit of a light, kind of a shawl that you can cover over much of your attire. It is a bit of a kind of a desert gray and green patchworked camo, not professionally made whatsoever, but it'll do. Here, cover yourself with this. At least it'll buy us some time if anyone does happen to notice what you're wearing.
Go ahead and throw that on.
All right. And he then gestures for you all to enter. And with that, we're going to go ahead and do we're going to be splitting the conversation here. So we'll start off.
Split the party.
We'll start off with those heading up to do the mechanical work. So Sam, as you walk off with this guy who looks over to you. My name's Johnny. What's yours?
Sam Stonewall.
And you had asked him, remind me again, you said, what's the...
How do you guys figure out where the next catastrophe is going to happen?
Yeah. And as...
You guys have a way to tell when it's going to end, plus when it's going to start the next one and where? That's amazing.
As you're heading north along the outskirt of the camp, and Caden, you start to catch some of the conversation as you approach from behind, kind of catching up. Well, seeing the storm disappear is easy. You just look as he gestures in the distance to the north. It's obvious when a storm is dying down. The catastrophes, they appear pretty spontaneously, but they seem to fizzle out and disappear in time. But generally, when they begin to disappear is when we begin to scout our surroundings to find where the next catastrophe may drop. If we're lucky, it will be on the far side, away from us. And if we are unlucky, well, we send out some scouts, and we use flares to identify the directions that will be safe. All of this is coordinated by a very smart man who I believe was once some kind of a researcher. Maybe he was involved in the military. I do not know.
Cedar.
But Cedar, yes, as he looks over his shoulder and sees you joining the group. Yes, Cedar. He came up with this method. I don't know when, but it has worked for us, and between Cedar and Banuk, we have survived for many years now.
Is Cedar around? After I fix these cars, I'd very much like to meet him. Sounds like a smart man.
Cedar's here. I just talked to him like 30 minutes ago.
Yes, Cedar is here, but we will likely... I do not have the jurisdiction to bring people to him. Luca may be able to, but Banuk would be better, and... Anyways, we're approaching the vehicles. Come.
While we're going through town, I kind of want to say this earlier, but I forgot. I'm gonna keep an eye out for anyone else with burn marks. Like, is it just the guards, just a few of them, or any of the civilians have them?
Sure.
Like, just to keep an eye out for that kind of thing.
I'm gonna have you give me 3 separate perception rolls that you can do now.
Sure.
And it's gonna kind of be, the beginning, the middle, and end of the conversation that you're looking around occasionally to notice.
Just progressively worse. Oop, I rolled 4 back.
Okay. Yeah. Initially, your first perception here is you're going to be noticing that most of those that are outside of the kind of makeshift perimeter of this encampment seem to be relatively well covered up, right? Whether to be to resist some of the weather that occasionally might happen along Edrison. Other ideas might be if it's strictly for protection, or maybe in some cases camouflage, as you notice that the little sash that, I guess you guys left, but out of character, right? The sash, the kind of desert camo sash that was given to Maxine, seems to be a common kind of pattern that these folks wear down here. You see some of their pants seem to sport similar designs, and the sash itself seems to be worn by a couple individuals. However, continuing to look for like the burn marks or any indication of burn marks, at the moment along the perimeter, you're not really seeing a whole lot. You did spot the one that you believed that you saw earlier, but having walked in past a few individuals now, strangely, you haven't seen actually any burn marks once among the heads and faces and body that you see these around these folks. So, but approaching towards the northern section of the camp, you guys will come across now that you have a better view of it, there's actually several vehicles here. There is quite a large patch that is off to the side here. Come on, draw. God damn it. There it goes. All right, so that circle that I just added to the makeshift map is empty. And the square is where vehicles are currently stationed. And the massive circular kind of area does seem to have this kind of outwards, gosh, how do I explain it? It looks like something was pushed out from the center, almost creating like an artificial circular design of some sort. So something was placed there recently. Between that open space and where you guys are, there's several individuals that seem to be doing maintenance on a handful of vehicles. And there's a few sections where there appears to be either a vehicle missing, or perhaps that it's just used as a walkway or a roadway to get vehicles in and out. But there's a good half a dozen vehicles here, between a good 4 Jeeps or Jeep-like vehicles, multi-terrain, 4-wheel drive looking vehicles, as well as 3, what did I say? I think it was 3 motorbikes that seem to be used. Well, they're all very heavily dusted, we'll put it that way. And Johnny kind of turns to you all. Come this way. We will introduce you to our chief mechanic, and there is one vehicle in particular that has been giving us a bit of difficulties. If you are able to perhaps provide some guidance, or if not fix the issue, we would be. I will vouch for you when meal time comes and grant you a meal without the trade. This will be more than sufficient. And he takes you around to these vehicles, and at this point you guys do find that black vehicle, Caden. You will spot that vehicle that has the kind of red stripe marks along the side, and this one does appear to be a bit better quality, a bit heavier metal material, and overall a little less banged up than the rest of them do. But from here, Johnny goes around a few vehicles, kind of looking around as if looking for someone. And eventually, with like an aha, come, I have found him. Walks over. Oops. One moment here. Yeah. So, walking between the vehicles, past some of the mechanics, he walks up to one. Hello, sir. I have brought some possible help for you. This gentleman here, a technician. And as soon as he didn't really turn away, as this man who has his head under the hood of a vehicle, unmoving while Johnny was speaking to him. But as soon as the name technician was mentioned, his head bolts upright and bangs up against the rooftop. Technician, you say? Let me see, as he pulls his face out from under the hood, and his face is just like covered in black streaks. Like, this guy looks like he's been doing nothing but working in under around cars all day long. And he lifts up two goggles that creates a very fine outline, and you see very vibrant green eyes. And he looks at Caden first, and then looking around quickly realizes and looks down at Sam. Ah, a technician. It's been so long since I've seen one of you. How are you? How are you? As he reaches out for a handshake.
I shake his hand and say, "Oh, I've been better. You know, of all the planets I've been, this has not been one of the most hospitable."
Yeah.
So I hear you've got a vehicle, a Jeep or something that needs some repairing.
Yeah, it's actually this one right over here. It's been acting up. The technology in it is not something that we find very often, but Banuk was able to bring us one of these, and well, if possible, I'd love to keep it in working order. It definitely has been helping us in the past years as we work around and keep ourselves on the road, moving around, as you know. Maybe a technician's touch. Maybe you can speak to the spirit of the machine, so to speak, as his eyes kind of light up, almost like a child in a candy store.
Can I insight check this? It seems a little weird. Can I insight check him?
Insight check for weirdness? I'm not quite sure.
I don't know, like the intent behind his reaction, I guess.
Intent. Okay, yeah, sure. Give me an insight roll.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, as far as you can tell, I mean, he seems very excited to see a technician, and he seems to be very fascinated with machinery, but that's kind of all you're getting at a surface level here.
Well, all machines come from Omni Prime, and if I've seen one or two, I can try to make this work. Show me what's wrong.
Ah, excellent, excellent, as he rubs his hands together and he rubs his hands together, and as soon as he spreads them off, Caden, you're going to notice that his hands are just black.
Yeah.
Well, come, let's take a look here. And he walks over to the black vehicle with the red stripes, and fishing for a key on his chain, he gets near the vehicle, puts it in, or not puts it in, but puts it up against the door, and you guys hear a as he then opens it and lifts the hood, as you hear the of the hood being unlocked. Walking to the front, lifts the hood, and it looks pretty dang incredible inside.
I look at it and I go to him, how many times have you tried to piece this together already?
He rubs the back of his... You can tell. Of course you would. Well, it's... we've had this thing for, I think it's been like 2 years now. I mean, we ride it pretty rough, but... I mean, it's definitely the vehicle that has come back the most times and has kept the most individuals safe. So... Ideally, right, we would prefer to keep it in tip-top shape, but at this point we're beginning to run out of the good materials to make repairs with. Is there perhaps any sort of technician knowledge that might be able to perhaps keep it working for a little longer at least until this next catastrophe lands?
Square box and square hole.
Well, I can give it a shot just looking at it here. I mean, you can tell that the integrated the power module here is gonna have an issue, and then the ignition. I bet it doesn't even start well.
Is there a secluded corner in the workshop by chance?
It's open. It's an open work
Is there
area.
oh, okay. There's not really a corner anywhere though. There's not really. I can get a little bit of privacy.
A little bit of privacy. You can
Just
try to
don't be,
find
like, right
one.
center, like a curtain or just like a corner or something. Like
You can give me a stealth roll to see if you can find a place that is away
I'm
from
not
prying
looking
eyes.
to use it yet, but I'm just curious if there is a spot. Sorry to.
Well, you're gonna have to look for one.
Okay.
But while they are out and about and kind of discussing, you look around and we'll come back to that. Well, the ignition's just fine. It starts up. But the problem is that after we ride it around for maybe a good 30, 60 minutes or so, it starts to... It's been occasionally stalling on us, and obviously that's a life or death situation.
And when you decelerate, when you slow down, does it wobble?
When we slow it down, that's a good question. Typically, we're going full or nothing at all. You want to go for a quick spin?
Might as well. Probably the best way to see what's wrong with it.
Yeah. Let's see what those little fingers and ears of yours might notice that these don't, as he gestures to his own. And he hops into the driver's seat and passenger side's unlocked.
I get in.
All right.
But hold on. Actually, no. I don't get in the passenger side. I actually stand next to him in the driver's seat, and I said, "Do you mind if I drive? I feel I really get to know the vehicle if I have my hands on it."
Give me a persuasion check with advantage.
Thank God for advantage.
For the advantage, yeah.
Oh, yeah. That probably lets you feel a little bit more about what this baby's how it's gonna respond to your touch, right? Yeah. And he just kind of shimmies over to the passenger seat and leaves you the driver's seat open.
I have to scoot the chair up quite a bit.
Do we have to get a booster? Little.
Yep. So yeah, Sam, when you go to take a seat, it's definitely positioned way too low. You max it out as much as you can, and you gotta kind of straighten your back a little bit to see properly. But you are like, this is fine.
Yeah.
All right, let's go. And Caden.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, before I get back to Caden, Sam, I need you to let me know. Does Sam have, in traditional D&D at least, do you have proficiency in land vehicles?
Ooh. No.
Okay. I'm gonna need you to make three.
Skulls it.
I'm gonna need you to make 3 rolls, and you can choose what to roll. Now the choices are going to be history for your knowledge of how land vehicles work. History for you is going to be at disadvantage. You could also roll a science arcana for just understanding machinery in general, and that can be rolled regularly. And last up, you can roll just a straight wisdom or just intuition on how a vehicle will function.
That one's my best roll, but I'm not gonna pick that one because I don't think it makes sense.
Which one's that one?
Wisdom.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Arcana, the science
Okay.
roll. And I roll 3 times? Or just once?
Yeah, I'm going to make you roll averages, so we're going to have 3 rolls and see if you succeed. First one's a 14.
No whammies, no whammies.
10.
I pushed it over.
And 18. Very nice. So you go to put it into gear, and you skip it And then you get it,
immediately reverse.
wiggle it around a bit. Yep. You okay, buddy? You got this, right? You're not gonna break anything.
No issue here. Handled many machines like this in my time. Slightly different from the controls I'm used to.
All right, well, take her down this road here, make a left, and then we're gonna head out and we just do a big couple of circles up to the north of the camp.
I'll follow his directions to where out of camp.
Yep, you guys do that. And Caden, as you are kind of looking about for a quiet spot, you hear that vehicle that they are working on drive off.
Oh, shit. I'll just go snoop around then. I was going to help them with repairing it, but I'll wait till they get back.
All right. As you loiter about, anything in particular you're going to be doing or looking for? If not, we'll come back to the rest of it.
No, I'm just kind of snooping because I'm bored at this point. I was going to help them, but...
All right. Caden doing Caden things, looking about the camp. And with that, within the group of mechanics, you do spot, now that the vehicle's gone, you kind of have a bigger view of, you know, where everyone's working. That one was kind of in the center of many of the vehicles. And you will notice that there are a couple folks here who their arms seem to have either like burn marks or acid marks. You're unsure, but
Yep.
there's definitely some kind of a scarring happening on the arm of one individual. And you see kind of the neck of another, the right side neck of another guy who seems to be not only having a bit of like scar burn tissue, but also there's two very deep gashes that have scarred over where his neck is.
Okay, this is... Yep.
All right.
Aiden's gonna look a little awkward, but he's just gonna, like, not like dig through drawers, but just kind of like pick things up that are on the countertop and look around and kind of just wait for them to come back at this point.
At the moment, right, you're kind of picking up some loose objects. The other guys that are around are busy with their work, and a couple of them have given you a bit of inquisitive glances, but otherwise have currently left you alone at the moment. So with that, we're going to pivot over to the other group. So Dario, let's actually go ahead and move you guys a little bit here. So we got Sam and Caden together. And we got Dario, Maxine, and Koji together. Which, you know, move you guys like this. All right. Luca then leads you all within the camp, and you see much of the same of what you heard from Caden's experience, which is the camp itself, once you're inside, seems much more pedestrian. Most of the folks here seem to be people just going about doing chores, and the occasional child that runs about, a couple of them are in groups that seem to be either playing or helping. But in the grand scheme of everything that goes on out on Aurora Green, and with a couple of you guys knowing very well, actually maybe more than a couple of you guys knowing very well of the just constant struggle of corporations and their expansion, it's somewhat serene just seeing people going about doing just day-to-day things rather than hustling for some objective outside of just making it to tomorrow. Well, what do you want to take a look at first? We got food over here. He's pointing kind of towards the center. We got some crafters who are stitching together some clothes. We don't really have any sort of... We're not going to be able to do much with weapons, but up towards the north where we keep our vehicles, we might have some folks that could look at your equipment. But is there something you guys are looking for in particular?
You got any real beds?
Define real. He gives you a bit of a knowing, but like I know where this is going kind of look.
Like a bed, you know? Is how can I elaborate that? A bed's a fucking bed.
I mean, we've got some furs. We've got a few kind of cushions that you might be able to use as a bed, but I mean, looking at you as he gives you a careful up and down, I'm thinking that you're thinking more along the lines of an older bed, one with cushion, that memory foam. He stares off as if longing for something that was once forgotten.
What, do you guys not have that shit here?
I mean, a couple of the vehicles have some cushions installed in a way, but I mean, you're gonna have to drive a hard bargain to ask the owner to swap sleeping arrangements for a night.
So, where do you guys like sleep then?
Well, those who don't have shelter of their own typically will bunch up, and he points towards the south. There's a bit of a larger tent. We all kind of huddled up in there and, just keep ourselves warm. We have blankets and furs and other synthetics that we use to cover ourselves with. Some of the more fortunate folks, they have their own vehicles that they maybe still have in working order. Some of the folks will actually take the airship and stay in there, but generally the airship is reserved for the more how to put it, the more soldier-esque of the group here, just in case anything happens, so it can get up in the sky faster. I'm sure you understand, as he gestures in the direction of Maxine. So, yeah, you might be able to convince someone that they don't need their bed anymore, but who knows? It's a much more personal matter in this group, unfortunately.
How many people are in the community?
Oh gosh, I think Banuk knows the number better than I do, but I want to say there's about 40 something of us, and then there's about a dozen kids running around somewhere. There's one there.
Oh, so it is a little bit easier to be on the move with such a small group then.
Well, you have to be if you don't have you don't have bunkers like the big cities do, and if you're not some rich fella who lives underground, then with the catastrophes rolling on through after the big event that happened, gosh, how long has it been? Kind of looks up and drifts off for a bit, but most of whoever's left behind either got off this rock thanks to one of the AbsCorp shuttles, and then there's people like us, which for some reason were told that we couldn't be helped, and well, we had to make do.
Yes, I see. Do you know where I can find it? Maybe possibly a first aid anywhere. If we do go on our travels, we may be in need of bandages or things to mend our wounds.
First aid, huh? Generally, Cedar keeps that stuff behind closed doors. Typically, the scouts and the recon folks are the ones that keep them when they go out. But if you can try talking with Agatha, she may have some of the more kind of local alternatives that you might be able to use as a medicine kit. At least I remember as he kind of lifts up one of his sleeves and you see a large scar along one of his biceps. I was attacked by some kind of a feline creature in the night when we were passing from the north, and thought I was gonna have to lose my arm, but Agatha had some of this paste that she put on it and stung a little bit. Smelled kind of funky, but the next day it healed right up, and my arm has been just fine. So yeah, perhaps we'll stop over by Agatha's hut, which is off on the eastern side.
That sounds good to me. Koji? Maxine? Anywhere else did you feel like we would need to go to? But
You guys got any, like, bars or anything? He says, almost with, like, a hint of horror in his voice.
I'm sure we have some rations cooking up, but if you're looking for a bar, he pulls out a makeshift bar wrapped in some cloth here. You can have one of mine. I mean, a little dry without something to drink, but it'll hold you through.
He's just gonna kind of look down at it. What?
You want
Mr. Akiyama is looking for alcohol.
Oh. So, not a bar?
No, like, I just need. He's got like a look of just sheer horror in his eyes. Oh fuck!
Uncultured.
Oh god.
We do make some alcohol, but we you could try drinking it. There's some folks that after when we try to be a little festive a few nights, they'll take a swig of some alcohol that we distill, but we're more likely to use it as for cleaning or for the vehicles. But if you're really looking for something to kick you in the gut, you could try heading over that way, or we could head over that way and see if they maybe are willing to share some. He's giving you a bit of a concerned expression as he makes an offer.
Koji's kind of just looking at the ground at this point. I want to go home.
Oh no, Koji.
I love that that's the turning point. Like, we can get mobbed by monsters. No alcohol.
Well, it's a combination of the no beds, no alcohol, nothing, nothing comfortable.
Koji is literally a child in the skin of an adult. It's so funny. All right. Well, with mention that without mention of any interest in the distilled alcohol that they're making here, Luca walks you kind of in a semicircle around the kind of communal center of this establishment, and you find a fairly well taken care of tent, a bit resembling the shape of like a circus tent, but much smaller, more independent, and more in the colors of something you might find from maybe like a native versus a clown, if that makes sense. And out front, out front, there is a old lady that seems to be cooking something in a pot in a little campfire that they have set up just right outside of this tent. And Luca, maybe about when you get to about 10, 15 feet away, kind of points over, and well, that's Agatha over there. Looks like she's brewing something right now, but turning over to, who was it that asked? Was it Dario?
yes.
Yeah, I'm turning over to Dario. But yeah, if you'd like to go try asking her. And he kind of stands 15 or so feet away, gesturing.
And
Luca, I had a question for you.
Yeah, as Dario, sounds like you're going to approach.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as Dario starts to approach, Maxine, yeah, what's up?
You're a soldier, you're protecting the people here, you're fighting for them. That got me wondering, when the evacuations happened, were you already grown?
When the evacuations were happening, was I... Oh. Grown by how much? I mean, I was a bit younger back then. I mean, AbsCorp disappeared, and then a few years after what happened, they came back and started evacuating. I mean, what do you mean?
Do you remember the fighting?
His eyes go distant, almost 1,000 yards stare-like. Yeah, I remember the fighting. What about it?
I'm just gonna give him a pat on the shoulder, and I'm gonna go with Dario.
Okay, Maxine, you move up with Dario, and Luca just stands there, leaves you to it. And Koji, where are you going to stick with Luca, who's just kind of standing there staring in the direction of Maxine, or do you join the group as well?
Koji's probably gonna sit down. You said it was like a 10, right?
Yeah, there's like a tent, there's some logs, there's some makeshift chairs and benches kind of scattered about, so you could easily take whichever one fits your fancy.
Yeah, Koji's just gonna take a seat on one of the benches and kind of lie down, stare up at the sky for a little bit.
Sure. Yeah, you lie down, and your legs do hang off of it enough to where they can bend at the knees, but you're able to kind of lay back, and definitely not comfortable, but yeah.
Oh, fuck.
All right, Dario and Maxine. Dario, you approach first as you see a bit of what appears to be an older lady, again, mixing a pot, just kind of staring into it, watching the bubbles pop, and doesn't really look up to you until your feet approach into her peripherals. Who is this?
Miss Agatha, I presume.
Yes.
Hi, my name is Dario. My friends and I were travelers from outside your community, and we were told that you are the local pharmacist healer.
Yes, I could hear you.
Yes. Do you happen to have any healings that you can share with us? We're going to be traveling soon and want to make sure we are going to be accustomed to anything that might affect us out there.
I don't really know a whole lot of stories.
Yes, Agatha, I know. Do you have can you provide any healing?
Give me a charisma or persuasion. No, it's gonna have to just be straight charisma.
Rolled an 8.
Okay. Yes, I said I could hear you. What do you want?
I look at Maxine and say this might be a little bit difficult.
And she kind of looks up, and you notice that her eyes seem to be a bit fogged over. And turning to Maxine, she squints at the two of you. Is that you, Sophia? I haven't seen you in ages. You've grown.
I look at Maxine a little surprised.
That's mute.
I'm just gonna kind of give Dario a look. I have no idea what this woman is talking about.
I'm sorry, Miss Agatha. You mean you are talking about Sophia?
Isn't? Yeah, she, confused, kind of looks up and down aimlessly between the two of you, and oh no, you're much too dark-skinned to be Sophia. You also, your features look much more like a man as well. No. I must have been
Don't
mistaken. My eyes are not what they used to be.
What are you making, Miss Agatha?
What?
What are you cooking?
I'm not cooking. I'm making healing salve.
Healing salve, huh? What is it for?
You're not the brightest one, are you? I said it's a healing salve. It is for healing.
Is it for sale, perhaps?
Oh, you wish to have some?
I see you speak the language.
Yes, as her sudden crooked smile and a little bit more focused eyes seem to settle on you, Dario. Well, what do you have to offer?
Looking in my bag, I take out this petrified forearm that I have found back in the caves. And present it to Miss Agatha. Not sure if this would be worthy of you, being someone as scientific and might find some use for this.
Oh, it reminds me of my late husband, Roger. Yes. She takes it and she brings it close to her face and takes a big... Oh, yes, this is potent. Where did you find such a thing?
We found it on our travels.
She takes it, begins to touch it with two hands, holding it in a vertical position where the petrified hand, almost like a petrified like monkey hand, right, kind of curls facing in your direction. This is interesting. I sense there is something to this. This is no ordinary old bone. She begins clicking her mouth, and before you can speak, she then licks it. Oh, yes. Yes. I will give you 2 water skins of the salve for this.
What do you think, Maxine? Seems like a pretty good bargain for an old bone.
I'm sure the healing salves would be more useful to us in the long run.
Miss Agatha, are you sure you want this bone?
No, I don't want to. What? No, we will trade. I will take this and I will give you 2 water skins of the salve.
You drive a hard bargain, Miss Agatha, but I'll take it.
Good. And she takes the bone and begins to kind of stand up as her body just creaks as her spine straightens and her knees straighten. Wait here. Let me go get the skins. And she walks into her tent.
Well, that seemed easy enough. Making a friend.
And a few moments later, she returns out with 2 skins that are full of a salve. Yeah, these were made the other day. They should prove more useful than waiting for this batch.
And we just put it on our skin when we have a cut, and should heal.
So, the object here is going to be acting very similarly to a medicine kit. So I will need to add one of those to the game, but you can make a note of that. Yes, you put it on a wound, you let it rest, and sleep well. Next day, it should be scarred over and improves your odds of not dying.
That sounds like a good medicine then. Thank you very much, Miss Agatha.
Yes, yes. If you have anything more to trade, anything like what is on this bone, then please bring it back.
You'll be the first one, Miss Agatha. Thank you for your patronage.
Oh, no, thank you. As her mouth goes wide and you see the old, just kind of teeth, not very straight, but she smiles at you.
Prettiest smile in all the village. I'll tell everyone else.
She just frowns and just shakes her head at you without much word after that.
And collecting our things, we head back towards Koji and Luca.
All right. You will find Luca standing there, where he was, where you left him, and Koji not far in the distance, laying down on kind of a bit of a, what's the word? A decently made wooden bench.
Are we ready to leave?
Yeah. This place sucks.
Alright, well, I've gotten into everything I think I can get. Maxine, unless I know that we don't have much time here, unless there's any place that you feel like we should visit, I'm more than happy to leave once the other two are ready.
Oh, it might not hurt to see if I can, Now, you know what, I think I'm good. I don't think I need anything, so.
Alright, and we head out of the tent with Luca.
All right. You all kind of walk about, and real quick, let's switch back over to Sam and Caden. So Sam, you are out in this vehicle with the mechanic, and you guys are going about, riding about, and do you try to do anything in particular? Because
he like directs us towards out and around the camp. We leave outside, and it's just me and him. And I'm starting to drive a little bit away from camp, so I'm kind of like, I don't know if there's towards trees or anything like that where we could get some cover. And once we're pretty far away, it definitely would not like where people's eyes can see just on their own, maybe with scopes or something they can, but like not to the naked eye.
Yep.
I start randomly lifting my foot off the accelerator or whatever they use to accelerate. And then I tell the guy, "Oh, you feel that? Definitely something. Is this what it does when you lose power on the vehicle?"
Letting go of the gas, it begins to slow and it begins to rock and bounce, but it doesn't begin to rumble mechanically. It almost seems like, no, it's just slowing down. But you do hear the engine kind of kick a little bit when it gets to a lower RPM, rotations per minute. Yeah, I feel that. What is that?
There's something wrong with it's not holding enough power. There's not enough power keeping up the engine.
But we've checked the power source. It seems to be in working order, so something along one of the relays.
Possibly. Well, where are the relays? Under the vehicle.
Well, you got some of them over there, as he kind of points underneath where the driving stick is. There should be some in the back in the trunk. There's a few spots. I don't know why they put it all in different places, probably for redundancy or something. But yeah, we could take a look.
And I'll pull to the side somewhere. I don't know if I can. There's no roads. I'll just stop the vehicle.
Sure. Yep. So
then,
having it stopped, he kind of gets out and pops the back, pulls out a panel, and there seems to be a bit of an electrical relay in there. He kind of circles about and goes to the side of the driver's seat and pops a panel. There's some relays there. And pops the hood. And there's another relay up in the front.
Yep. I go to the one in the back first. And I kind of hoist myself up and over. Pretend like I'm looking inside. I move some stuff around. And then I say, right here. Do you see this over here? And then I get off, and then I point towards this for the guy to come take a look.
He does.
Do you see that?
Yeah. What is this? It looks corroded.
Yeah. Well, that's the issue then. Look closer. Look behind where it's connected to. That's why there's no power.
He leans in. Do you have a light? Or no, he has a light. He pulls out a flashlight and kind of shines it within. I don't quite see where you're pointing to. Where?
Keep looking. It's right there. Shine your light a little closer.
Waiting for him to club him
As he is doing that, I'm taking my warhammer out.
I knew it.
All right. He leans in a bit more and begins to shine his light, and it's at this moment that actually all of you are going to start to sense the air thumb. And Dario, Koji, Maxine, as you guys are walking with Johnny, Caden, as you're kind of loitering about and beginning to feel some of the tools begin to rumble nearby, and Sam, kind of hearing this coming from back in the direction of where the settlement is. You all take a quick glance in that direction of the noise and spot up in the sky that aerial vehicle approaching from the south, beginning to fly over, beginning to fly over the camp, or approaching the camp, I'll say. And Luca turns to the three of you. Well, looks like Banuk is back. Let's go find your friends. He's gonna want to see you.
Oh, is that what that thing was?
And as you look up to see this aerial vessel, you then see a flare popping off further behind it to the south. And Luca speaks up again. And looks like the recon, or the recon caravan's coming back too. Come on, we gotta hurry. They're gonna be back here quick. And Johnny goes back to where the mechanic, where he introduced you guys to the mechanic, bumps into you, Caden.
Hmm?
Where did your friend go?
He's out trying to diagnose the issue with the vehicle. They drove off.
Well, I will have to reach him on the comms soon. It looks like the others are returning, and based on our agreement, I shall bring you to the others.
Caden's gonna have like a stack of like objects. He just started stacking things in front of him on the table because he was bored.
Give me a performance or stealth or dexterity sleight of hand if you have proficiency with it.
I don't even know. So I haven't had to use any of those.
Yeah.
Or
actually, no, it wouldn't be performance. Yeah, just give me a dex roll. If you have sleight of hand proficiency, you can give me a proficiency bonus.
Where's my button? Ability check. Normal.
Oh shit.
That's 20.
Yeah. Also, before he leaves, that is quite impressive. You must teach me how to stack things like you do. All right. And back to Sam and the mechanic. Oh yeah, I think I see it right there, right there.
I hear that horn humming, and I say, "What is that sound?"
What? And he quickly jolts back and smacks his head against the top of the back again. God damn it. Oh, they're coming back. That, I think Johnny said something about you guys needing to talk with our leaders, right, Banuk? Yeah.
I'm mid-swing, and as he says they're coming back, I pause.
And
I slowly unwind my swing and put my hammer back. Banuk, that's your leader, right?
yeah, what's the hammer for?
Oh, just a couple of things here we had to knock off. I thought it was a little stuck.
I guess
But
I
Mr.
didn't.
Can find.
I guess I didn't hear it when I was focusing. Sure.
Oh, the mind of a mechanic. I totally get it.
Give me a deception roll.
Oh God.
Ooh. All right.
I feel like I know Sam already. I knew he was going to swing that hammer.
Well,
Oh
he
no.
he stops rubbing the back of his head where he hit it. It's like, sure, yeah. Come on, I'm driving this time. We gotta get back. The boss is gonna want to see you guys. His tone
Can't wait.
definitely changed. But that is where we're gonna call episode 5 tonight, guys.
Oh, that was so good.
All right, good stuff. A lot of fun. What do you guys think?
That was good.
It's getting
That was really
good.
Yeah.
Cool. Lots of little bits of information or alleged information. Who knows what was relevant, what was not. But yeah, tons of fun. First encounter of a village of sorts once they had settled down. And yeah, I don't know. What are you guys thinking? Do we want to have a time for gossip, or should we just call it here since we're going to have a break next week?
Good either.
Well, we almost lost Maxine. That was I wasn't really sure where that was going.
We're gonna see Maxine in season 2. She's gonna run the place.
Maybe. How's the little mock-up drawings working out for you guys? Is that at least filling in some gaps, working okay?
Mhm.
Yeah.
A little tricky because we're doing it in a majority as much as possible theater of mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it works.
Cool. All right, everyone.
I feel like I know Sam already. Like, even before he swung that hammer, he's gonna swing the hammer.
Oh man, I really wanted to. Then the whole like ship came in. I was like, "Fuck!" If
You
it
didn't
was
even
just us still, yeah. If it was just us and like the leader wasn't coming back, and we'd have like another 30 minutes to an hour, I could make something up. But like we're all supposed to group up, meet this leader now. They're gonna get all this direction. We're gonna get fucked if I
I was
off this
like,
guy.
you didn't even put the hammer down though. You like had it raised, and you're like, "Huh? What's that noise?"
That was also the shittiest fucking excuse, dude.
I rolled a 2.
You did roll it too. That's probably has something to do with it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
You could have like put the hammer down and then asked him.
Yeah, but if it was an answer that was fine, I was gonna hit him.
Gee. Sure. Again, I love how I just love how I was like, Sam's gonna hit with a hammer. You're like, and I raised my hammer. I was like, fucking hell, I feel like I know Sam already.
I don't know where it comes from, but I think Maxine and Koji have like a good like unplanned coordination.
I feel the same with me and with Keaton and Sam.
There's a few dynamics that are beginning to form in the group, which is I've noticed it too.
Oh man, it's been fun.
Cool.
Yeah, it has been.
Yeah, this was a blast.
Well, tonight was a lot of new information and not a lot of new faces with the NPCs, so hope you all enjoyed it out there. Once again, we will be taking a break next week, So the next episode, episode 6 of Horizon Exploration, will be on April 3rd. So mark your calendars. The reminder video is there. If you want to get those updates, make sure you click those buttons. And otherwise, you can always see the notifications on Twitter and Discord if you join those communities. All right, everybody. Well, we're going to be wrapping it up. Thank you all for joining. And stay safe. Enjoy the rest of your day, evening, night, whatever it might be. And we'll see you here next time on Horizon Exploration. Till then, take it easy, everybody.
Bye.